Hello hackers, welcome back to Udp, where we go deep into world of ethical hacking, so one tool at a time. So today we are unlocking the full potential of Hping3, a powerful packet crafting tool used for scanning, ports, firewall testing, and even stimulating DoS and DDoS attacks. Very important here. So we are not rushing this. We will go step by step from beginner to advanced. If you have watched my Nmap videos, this will feel just like that. Real, slow, and practical. Let's begin. Before that, please, this video is for educational purposes only. All demonstrations are done in a controlled lab environment. Never use these techniques on networks which you do not have permission to test. Always be a responsible ethical hacker. So what is Hping3? So Hping3 is like a manual version of Nmap. It lets you create custom TCP, UDP, and ICMP packets to control the flags. And not control the flags, like you can use the controlled flags to scan against the target host and ports, and you can also send the packet speed or slow and everything in between. So you can use this Hping3 to perform stealth scans, bypass firewalls. You can stimulate DoS or DDoS attacks and trace routes and observe how packet respond. The power is in your hands. You can send exactly what you want and what you design and what the response you want from the target host. So let's log into the Poly. First of all, we need to install the tool Hping3. apt install Hping3. Hping3. So after you install, so we are starting with the basic TCP packet flag. This changes how target responds. Knowing this is a key to hacking. So our first scan is SYN scan, which can go like Hping3, tag S, and then tag P. So our target host is this. As of now, let me open my virtual box so that we'll target the Metasploitable 2 machine. If you do not have any lab environment, please do watch my YouTube video so that you will find how to install Metasploitable 2 machine on the virtual box. It is very easy. You can check out my video and come back here. So we will now use virtual box and run our Metasploitable 2 machine. And the Metasploitable 2 IP is 192.168.56.3. So let's come to the topic here. The first scan we have is SYN scan. Let me explain what it is. So SYN scan, what it do is it sends a SYN packet like starting a handshake. If you know TCP three-way handshake, then you will definitely understand what is SYN packet. So like you send the SYN packet and you receive the packet acknowledge, and then SYN acknowledge, and then like this is the three-way handshake. If you know the TCP IP model for the TCP TCP handshake, then you will definitely know what is SYN scan. So if the port is open, so you will get SYN ACK response. We can check it right away, either if your port is open or not. What if port is closed? You will get the reset flag. So what I'm talking, if you don't understand, let me explain right away. And also one more thing, if the port is filtered, it could be there is no response. Actually, this command Hping3 tag S SYN scan we will use for stealthy scans without completing the connection. So when you have a target machine, we are not is sleeping. Let's say the target machine is sleeping. You are not going there and touch him to wake up. No, you are just going there, peep in and come back. You just check in and come back. So we're just sending the SYN packet, not any acknowledged packet, and then come back. So we'll get the SYN acknowledge, and we don't send in three-way handshake. When you send SYN packet, then you get the acknowledged packet, then you send another acknowledge, and then you receive done, like acknowledge again, bye bye. So but we are only going to the off scan. We just send, and the host machine is the target machine is still waiting for the acknowledgement from our machine, but we never do that. It can do only for off SYN scan. So if I enter, okay, let me stop here. I want to use the Wireshark for you to show more. So I'm using a virtual box. So let me use the same virtual box adapter network. Okay, let me run the same command again. Okay, here. So let the Wireshark capture. Okay, it's also capturing. So I go back and I stop. Here you scan it. Now I can tell you the port is open. How? You can also check here Wireshark. I can see that port is open. How? You need to know, as I tell you, if the port is open, you will get a flag, SYN ACK. You will see here flag and against port 80 is a SYN and ACK both. It's received, which means the port is open. So what if the port is closed? Let's try on HTTPS 443. See the flag, see the flag. As I told you, reset. If port is closed, you get the reset flag. So we get the reset flag, which means port is closed. How I can tell, how I can verify? We can also check here, reset acknowledge from the Wireshark. So how you can confirm that? You can use nmap command, tac p port 80. Okay, we'll use both port 80 and 443. Enter. You can see 80 is closed, 80 is open. That's why we have SYN acknowledge. If the port is closed, you get the reset. You see the port is closed. That's how you need to understand the Hping3 with the flags. This is where it's spicy tool. And the next one we have acknowledge scan. So the same command you use, nothing changed. You just replace with capital A and then enter. Quickly check the reset flag here. So we are sending acknowledge and reset. So you see the first one is SYN and SYN acknowledge, right? But we are sending here acknowledge, which means you have to receive reset. If you receive reset, which means the port is open. Okay, no, the port is closed. Sorry guys, the port is closed. So if you receive, okay, 80, same again. But here, why it is not happening like the SYN scan? Because when you send a acknowledge packet, there is no handshake. You get me? It is only happening on SYN packet. There will be a handshake. But when you send acknowledge, there is no handshake. You didn't establish any handshake. Please remember this. So if the port is open or port is closed, it doesn't matter. But you are testing if firewall allows acknowledge packets. Here, is it allowed? If you see the response not filtered or no filter or likely filtered, then which means there is no firewall here. So now we can see there is no firewall. That's why we are getting a response. And also the TTL value is 64, which means TTL value can tell you what is the host, the target host. Our target host is Linux, Metasploitable 2 machine. So that's why we have 64. If we have Windows, you will see 128. Okay, let's move. Okay, let me tell you where we can use this. It is not completely stealthy, but you can use to test the firewalls in stateful, when it is stateful firewall is enabled. So let's move to another scan, which is finscan. Same command, just change it to tech F. And let me use 443, enter. So what happens is it actually sends fin packet. You can also check here, fin and reset acknowledge. You know reset acknowledge, right? The port is closed. So if it sends a fin packet to a closed connection, most systems will ignore fin or on open ports. Remember this. Most systems will always ignore fin on open ports and send reset if it is closed. That's why we get the reset flag, because it is closed, the 443. Okay, if you use against 80, let's see the response. You should receive. What happened? Oh, my host is down. Sorry. Power half. Okay, let me run the Metasploitable 2 machine again. Okay, there you go. Okay, it's working. You can see reset. Why? It's because the service is not yet started. We just started, right? Okay, so you understand, right? The packet, the scans that we use. So in finscan, why we use it? Actually, it can bypass the basic firewalls, but it can block the SYN scans. So and then we have UDP and ICMP packet. This is very simple. You can use the command tac UDP, and let's take the UDP port, which is DNS53. You can see the response from the Wireshark. UDP packet and 53 and port 53. Also the same for ICMP. We just use ICMP and port, let's say 80. You can see here. So it is actually send the ICMP echo request. So it's similar to like a ping, so but more customizable, because it can bypass the ping filters. So nowadays, most of the systems, if you ping, they won't allow. Let's say if you use Flipkart, let's see if it can allow pings. It can allow, but some of them not allow. Amazon.in. Okay, like you see this one, they allow the ICMP. But if you use, if they block ICMP, if they block the ping, then you have to definitely use the Hping3 ICMP echo reply packet, so that it can tell you either the host, it can allow you, sorry, to bypass the ping filters from the firewall. And then the best one what we have is to control the packet. How we can control the packet? Let me show you with the port selection. So you can use Hping3 attack P80, and then on A attack S, and a target 192.168.56.3. So this is, we're scanning against one port. So what I do is here, I use plus plus, which means the packet, it starts from 80 and above. You can see 80, 81, 82, 83. It is interesting, right? So now you are controlling the packet. You are controlling the packet to scan from which port to higher. Now we can also do is count. So we are customizing the syntax now, packet, to send it to the target host to get the response. And you can see the response now. So it only sent 5, count of 5. Okay, and also we do the interval scan. This is crazy, but you need to be very careful when you want to use this. So let's say we use tag IU1000. This is micro. So every 1,000 microseconds, it sends a packet. So 1,000 microseconds is very, very small. It can send thousands of thousands. And you use this against on port. Let me use the port 80. Okay, and you can see, if you check the Wireshark, you can see how many it sent. Almost 2,000 just in microseconds. You can see on against port 80. So this is nothing but we are performing flood. Like we are controlling the packets to go very fast, or you can also slow down. So to slow down, you can use 1. So every 1 second it send a packet. Every 1 second it send a packet. And let me check if my host is live. Ping 192. Then yep. So you can also use tag V for verbose outputs. And the main interesting thing is, which Hping3 is DoS and DDoS attack. So if you want to flood a target machine, please always very careful when you're testing any target host and using this particular option, which is flood, which can even shut down the system and bring the all services down, and it never be responsive again. So be careful when you are using these commands. And port 80, and then use the target. Okay, it can send, you can see just 1 second, you can see how many packets it sent. It sent huge number of packets. Also, you can customize the packet with random source IP addresses. So the receiving attacker machine, it doesn't understand where the packet comes from, because it comes from multiple sources. If you enter and then scan, you can see it sent 200,000 packets just in millisecond. Imagine how fast it is. It can even break all of the system services and bring it down. So always careful when you are handling the DoS and DDoS attack against systems. So always, also you can use the Traceroute, as I was mentioning. Instead of to trace it, you can use trace option Traceroute. Let's say on 8.8.8.8.8.8.8.8. Let me use the flag, which is SYN flag. So it can tell us the host, the hops, you can see. So that's how it is. And let's summarize the mindset of Hping3 tool. So always use SYN and acknowledge and fin to analyze the firewalls. These are the best with the Hping3 tool. If you combine SYN and acknowledge and fin scans to analyze the firewalls, and you can use the option tag flood only in labs. Never try on any online host. because it will bring the services down of that particular online host. And also understand what each flag does, and don't just memorize. Interpret the response. Always use the Wireshark to understand it better. So you can combine Hping3 with Wireshark to really see what is happening. So if you want more deep diving hacking tool videos like this, hit like and drop a comment and subscribe to the Shadow Contest channel. So we'll stimulate full DDoS attack labs using Hping3 and Wireshark plus custom detection scans in coming videos. So stay curious, stay legal, and keep learning. So thank you. Bye bye.